Okay, so now we're going to look at some adding and subtracting radicals. Now, we need to remember that we can only add and subtract them when they are the exact same index and the exact same radicand or number inside. These are not, but I can simplify them. If you struggle with the simplification piece, you may want to go back and look at some of the other videos. Now that the radical 5's are the same, I can simplify them, and I would get -1 radical 5. Notice that the coefficient is the only piece that changes, the inside stays the same. Similar to adding or multiplying and dividing, if the radicands are not the same, or if the index is not the same, even though this can be rewritten with the radicand as the same, because the index is not the same, you cannot combine them further. So that actually remains just like that. Square root of 50 minus square root of 72. Let's simplify it first. That's 5 root 2 minus 6 root 2. Again, if you're struggling with the simplifying piece, you may want to watch the other videos. 5 minus 6 is -1 radical 2. Now, we cannot have a radical in our denominator, and both of these next two problems have radicals in their denominator. Hopefully we remember that we're going to multiply by whatever is in our denominator, except we're going to use the opposite sign. So instead of minus, we're going to use plus. And we are going to FOIL here. So my denominator, 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times radical 3 is positive 4 radical 3. Negative radical 3 times 4 is minus 4 radical 3. Negative radical 3 times radical 3 is negative radical 9. That's my denominator. My numerator, going to take a little less time there. It's 12 plus 3 radical 3 plus 4 radical 2 plus radical 6. In my denominator, I see that my middle terms cancel. That's the whole reason that we multiply by the same binomial with a different sign. Because the middle two terms are going to cancel. And the square root of 9 is 3. So my denominator just turns into 13. Because 16 minus 3 is 13. My numerator is ugly, especially because there is nothing that can be combined up there. That's quite alright. My numerator is allowed to have radicals in it. My denominator does not. So we're good. Very similar here. 2 plus square root of 5. 2 plus square root of 5. Distributive property, I'll do the bottom first. 4 minus 2 radical 5 plus 2 radical 5 minus radical 25. My numerator is 2 radical 5 plus 5. My denominator becomes -1. My numerator is still 2 radical 5 plus 5. Dividing by -1 just switches the signs of everything in my numerator. So I just divided through by -1, and that is the final answer that I got.